Hello, soap fans, and here is my video looking back at the 13th, lucky 13th week of Beyond the Gates. The show just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. It's a good crazy. So let's get to it. Here are the highlights from the week that was. So finally, Leslie's being interrogated in a police station, but it's wild. It is wild what's happening. She is really going all out to try to throw her daughter under the bus, and that's Jacob doing the interrogation. And it's taken me a lot of restraint not to just scream, "Read between the lines, you fool!" Like Hibbert's brother, and that was his brother in that episode of Simpsons. But yeah, and one thing I don't like is they are really trying to make Leslie and Eva into a big package deal. Like Eva has to be involved in running down Laura. No, no, they can't. I mean, you can't put anything past Leslie, but you can't assume Eva was behind it just because she happens to be Leslie's daughter. That's just unfair. So after some weeks of thinking it over and a bit of reluctance on Anita's side, we have an Articulates reunion, sort of. There were three members of that group, but we see two of them together again: Anita and of course Tracy Taylor. It was a mostly warm reunion, but it did have its drama. Seeing that, of course, even though the Articulates are fictional, it does remind me of a lot of the R&B diva groups from past and present, and well, mainly past because I grew up listening to a lot of everything, and that included some oldies, and of course, what were some of the old R&B groups? Well, I know there was Martha the Vandellas. I know that. I know there was LaBelle, but of course, I couldn't help but think of the Supremes because that's the group that had the most drama back then. But yeah, it was a pretty sight to see. And of course, Tracy, we've been seeing her. We saw her all this past week, week 13. Though I can't help but think Tracy's going to cause some trouble. I just have that feeling. Of course, the highlight for the Wednesday episode was Jacob and Eva talking, and Eva knew full well that Leslie had been trying to pin everything on her because out of spite, this, that, and the other, and it's just awful. Now, Eva was definitely had enough of her mother's nonsense, and I was really, 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 really pulling for her to sell out Leslie. But here's the thing: I forgot I was watching a soap opera, and soaps, much like wrestling storylines, they like to stretch things out longer than they should. So of course, Eva says nothing yet. She'll save that nugget for when she needs it. I have that feeling. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to wait. I have the patience of a saint. I waited 21 years for a Stanley Cup, so I can wait for pretty much anything. So Eva, when the time's right, yeah, she'll drop a whole bunch of dimes at Leslie. It'll happen. For the Thursday episode, I want to say I was glad to see Nicole back in her element for the first time since the shit hit the fan. I mean, she's truly back in her element. Because after everything happened, it was a couple weeks of the fallout and the emotional breakdown and trying to pick up the pieces, and now she's back in her element. And of course, for this scene, it's Jacob and Nicole in there with Ted. I think Kat was in there too. They were talking about Leslie and Eva and all this that, and the other. And I remember being amused by Nicole telling Ted to do whatever it takes to make sure Leslie doesn't play them anymore. I would love to say that was loosely translated into get rid of her. I'm trying to keep it clean. Um, Sadly, I don't think Nicole has it in her, or does she? I don't know. I still have some hope, not a big hope. I still have some big hope that Nicole just goes flat out diabolical. She has that look, but the character, I don't know. Like I said, I'm willing to wait. I waited 15 years for a pennant. Oh man. So This was from Friday's episode, and oh boy. So after failing to entice Ted for the millionth time, we see Leslie alone, boasting about her alter egos, but then and her disguises, but then puts on another disguise. Nicole. Oh, I'm still processing this. I should have seen this coming because I've been watching villainesses like this for over 30 years, and it's one thing I know is one trait some of these wicked women have is they are immensely jealous of the woman that's their obstacle to the point where they actually borderline dress like them. And this is it right here. This is just absolutely nuts. Leslie is continuing to fall further down that proverbial rabbit hole with no way out. And the scary part is, I don't think she wants to get out. And that is my recap of week 13. And this has been a wild soap. Very wild soap. And here's hoping week 14 and beyond gets even crazier. So, if you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe for more. If you're on TikTok and Instagram, feel free to hit that follow button. My story on Vocal about week 13 of this show, there's the link. Check it out when you can, and I'll be back next week with another recap.